Hi friends, it's Lisa Mears here. Thanks for joining me. In this video, I'll be sharing the Stamps of Life Club products for the month of August in 2025. And I'm going to start out by showing you the Stamp and Die Hard Club sets. These sets are called In My Book, so it's a book theme for all you book lovers out there. This is what the stamp set looks like. It has a cat there on the left, and it also has an open book at the top and a stack of books at the bottom right, and lots of fun sentiments such as in my book, your classic, stay novel, read, relax, and repeat. Hope your birthday is a real page turner. Let's turn the page together, and our friendship is a bestseller. If you're a member of the Stamp Club, you'll get that stamp set, and if you're a member of the Die Hard Club, you'll get the stamp and the coordinating dies to cut those stamps out. In addition, if you are a member of the Stamp or Die Hard Club set, you get a freebie this month, and the freebie is this die right here. And I'm going to open it up so you can see what it looks like. It really doesn't look like much when you're looking at it, but what this is a die set that can cut out several different sizes of eyes. So if you have lots of different critter or animal dies, you can use those eyeball dies to die cut a bunch of different size eyeballs for them. Okay, let's take a look at the card kit of the month. This card kit is the Sending Hugs collection, and it coordinates with the Stamp and Die Hard Club set. So let's start out by looking at the cardstock, and of course you always get this plastic envelope to store your cardstock in. It's a pretty sturdy envelope, and I use a lot of these to store all different colors of cardstock and separate them by color. You also get a pack of envelopes for your completed cards, and the cardstock colors this month are Orchid, Mint Chip, Slate, Sage, Sunflower, Ginger Snap, Twig, Midnight, and you get 4 sheets of the powdered sugar. So there's the color palette for this month. With every card kit, you get a pattern paper pad, and this is the Sending Hugs collection paper. So here you have some sunflowers and books. The reverse of all of the pages is this fun flower pattern, and you get that pattern in several different colors. There was a cat design, there's that other flower pattern in the sunflower color. This page is your die cuts that you can use your coordinating dies to cut these out, or if you don't have the dies, you can just use your scissors and fussy cut them. I love the die cut sheets because they make for such quick and easy cards, and you don't have to worry about coloring. But of course, if you need more, that's what the stamp set is for. One of the patterns in the paper pad is this Sending Hugs, and part of the card kit is a word die that you also get that's in that same Sending Hugs font. Here are some flower prints. There's that flower pattern again in the ginger snap color, and here are more of the die cuts. Now with this sheet, you're going to need the More in Your Book die set to die cut those out. Otherwise, you can just fussy cut them. So here's more of the papers in some smaller prints. So you have a smaller cat print here. You saw the larger one earlier. There's the orchid color with the flowers. You get a polka dot sheet. There's a smaller Sending Hugs. There's the flower pattern in the mint chip color and a smaller design of the colorful flowers. And then it starts back at the beginning, and you get 2 sheets of each one of those papers. This card kit also includes an A1 circle edge card die set. I love it when the Stamps of Life puts these card dies in here because they're so much fun. You can create an A1 size card, you get the card base, you get a large word die that says Sending You Smiles, and there's different layering dies for the front of that card base. Also included are these puffy stickers. So a lot of the same designs that you've seen throughout this kit with the cat and the books and the flowers. You also get some sentiment stickers. Never give up. You're pretty much the best. Hey there, friend. Wishing you a good day. Sending happy thoughts your way just for you, and you are such a good friend to me. You also get a pack of gingham purple bows, as well as these large sparkly sticky gems to put on your cards. You also get a gingham purple ribbon. It matches the bows in this kit. And that is everything that's included in the Stamps of Life August 2025 card kit, Sending Hugs. So if you're interested in joining a club, check the links down in the description box of this YouTube video. I'll have links where you can hop over to the Stamps of Life website and find out more information about the clubs. And if you're interested in joining any of the clubs, I always appreciate when you click on my link to join or use my coupon code Lisa Mears, because it does help support me at no extra cost to you. But one perk of using my coupon code or clicking on my link is that you do get $5 in extra club points to spend in the Stamps of Life store. So that's like free money that you can use to spend in the Stamps of Life store. So now let's go ahead and make some cards using these products. For my first card, I have a piece of the Midnight, which is the dark blue cardstock that is cut to 5.5 by 4.5 inches, and then that pattern paper I cut to 5.25 by 4, and then I have a piece of vellum from my stash which I cut to 4.5 by 3.25. So I'm going to start out by attaching the pattern paper to the top of the Midnight cardstock. So I'm going to wait to use the vellum, so I'm just going to keep that set aside for the moment, and I'm going to bring in these nested flag banner dies. These are some Scrapbookcom banner dies. They come in all different sizes of layering dies to make the banner shapes. I use this small banner to die cut a piece of that pattern paper in the sunflower color, and I'm also going to use this coffee cup die cut and the stack of books and the cat die cuts from the pattern paper pad. So I'm going to start out with these two pieces, the banner and the coffee cup, because I'm going to do some stamping on these die cuts. So I'm just bringing in my Misti so that I can hold these pieces down while I stamp them. And I'm going to start out by stamping the sentiment Read, Relax, Repeat, and that's going right on that banner shape. And I'm using a dark blue ink. I wanted to pick an ink that matches the cardstock that I used, and since I used the Midnight cardstock, I'm using my Midnight blue ink from Scrapbookcom. So I stamp that out, and then I'm going to stamp out a flower design, this one here, onto the coffee cup. So I'm just going to hold that coffee cup down, position the flower stamp, and I'm going to ink that up with the same Midnight blue ink and stamp that directly onto the coffee cup. Okay, and there is what that looks like. All right, so now I'm going to add these die cut pieces directly to the vellum. So I'm going to start out with the stack of books off to the right side of the vellum. Then I'm going to add the cat. I was going to glue it flat, but then I decided it would look probably best if I popped it up a little bit so that it's sitting on top or in front of those books. So I'm just adding a few pieces of foam tape to the back of the cat, and I'm then going to add it in front of the books. After adding the cat, I'm going to add the coffee mug, and I'm going to attach the handle directly to the cat, and then the other side of it I need to put a few pieces of foam so that it stands up on top of the vellum. So the left side of that mug is attached to the vellum, and then the handle part has glue on it and it's attached to the cat. Now on the back of this vellum, I'm only adding glue behind these die cut pieces. I don't want to put glue all over the whole piece of vellum because that glue will actually show through the vellum. But I chose to use vellum here because, as you can see, it just softens the pattern paper a little bit so that those die cut images stand out more strongly, and they're not lost in all of those images on that pattern paper. So that's why I use vellum. You can see that for the banner shape, I attached it to the vellum first, and then I'm just putting glue behind it and then attaching that part to the card panel. And next, I'm going to add that entire card panel to a A2 size card base. And that card is now complete. So there is my first card. And moving on to my second card, I am using my Pink and Main stitch rectangle dies in 3 different sizes. I die cut a piece of white cardstock. You can see the stitching along the edge. I also die cut the flower pattern paper and another piece of white cardstock using the largest stitched rectangle die. I'm going to start with my smaller white stitched rectangle die cut piece, and I'm going to add that to my Misti, and I'm going to stamp my sentiment on here. My sentiment consists of 2 lines. I'm going to start with the very top line. It's going to say, "In my book, your classic." So I'm stamping out the "in my book" first. That's the stamp that I'm positioning right now. For the ink, I'm using my Scrapbookcom dark chocolate ink. It's just a dark brown ink. So I'll go ahead and stamp that. I'm going to ink it up a few times and stamp it down to get a really crisp impression. And then once I finish the first line, I'm going to take the next stamp, line it up, and just do the same thing. So this is the stamp that says "You're a Classic." So I'm just going to ink that up with the same dark chocolate ink and stamp that right underneath the "in my book." And here's what that one looks like. Now I'm going to add the flower pattern paper to the large white piece of cardstock. And then I'm going to add the smaller rectangular piece that I stamped the sentiment on. That's going to go right on top. And then I'm also going to be using this stack of books with the flowers. I think that's so pretty. I'm going to be bringing in the purple gingham ribbon and bow. And I'm going to have the purple gingham ribbon, I'm going to have that underneath that die cut shape of the books. I'm just putting some double-sided adhesive tape on the ribbon so that it attaches to the card layer. Okay, so I'll go ahead and put that on my card layer so that it ends up being right between where the flowers meet the books on that die cut shape. And the reason I'm putting it right there is because I want to add my bow right at that spot. So I want it to look like it's ribbon that's tied around with a bow on top. So I'm adding the books to my card, and then I'm going to put some glue on the back of that bow, and you can see I'm attaching it right underneath where the flowers are, right where the flowers meet the books, so that it's right on top of that ribbon. Okay, now I'm just going to put glue on the back of that entire panel, and I'll add that to an A2 size card base. And then that card is complete. For my next card, I'm using the A1 Circle Edge card die set. This die set comes with the card base, 2 layering dies. Actually, there's 3 layering dies in here, and then the large sentiment sending you smiles. So this first die set here is the card base, and I die cut that with the twig cardstock. You can see it puts this fun circle design along the edge of the front panel of the card base, and it also puts a score line so that you can fold this in half and you don't have to worry about scoring it yourself. So that's this die. Okay, and then there are 2 layering dies that can go on top of that card panel. Now the shape of each of the dies is the same. The only difference that I noticed is that one of the dies has stitching and one does not. So if I bring this a little bit closer, you can see the stitching along the edge, and then the other one does not have the stitching. So those two will work for the front of that card base, and I die cut this floral pattern paper. You can see the stitching that I have there because I did die cut that with the stitched die. And I'm just going to go ahead and put glue on the back of this and add it to the card base. There's another layering die in here, and this layering die is for the inside of the card. I used the slate cardstock since it matched the front of the card, and I'll go ahead and glue that to the inside. So there is the card, and now you can just decorate it. So for my card, I am going to use the Sending Hugs word die that was included with the card kit. I die cut it with the twig cardstock and the shadow in the white cardstock, and I'm just going to attach the two. That word die fits perfectly on the front of this card base, so I'm just going to go ahead and glue it to the card base. And then I'm going to bring in the puffy stickers, and I'll use 2 of the sunflower stickers, 1 on each side of the word hugs. And that was a pretty quick and easy card. And of course, you can add a sentiment or anything you like to the inside, or just leave it blank to handwrite a message. I decided to use the same A1 circle edge card die set for my next card, and for this one I used a white card base. For the inside I used the sunflower color, and then I die cut the layering die for the top of the card with this blue flower pattern paper. Instead of this being a landscape card like the previous one, I'm going to rotate it and make this a portrait card. And I've already have my die cut images. I'm using the open book, the cat, and I've already stamped my sentiment on a piece of white cardstock. This sentiment says, "Hope your birthday is a real page turner." And then after stamping it with black ink on white cardstock, I just cut it out in a square shape. So I'm going to go ahead and add the book first, the cat on top of the open book. I added the sentiment to the top right hand corner, and then I'm also going to bring in a balloon. Since this is a birthday card, I thought by adding that little balloon element would give it that more festive birthday feel. So this balloon die cut, I used a die set from Pretty Pink Posh. These are the party balloon dies. I die cut the balloon in red and then the string in white, and I just attached those two together, and I'm going to add this balloon so that it's positioned underneath the book, so the string is behind the book. I think that's super cute. And that completes this card. So that is a super fun, super easy, cute birthday card. So I hope you liked my cards today. I would love to hear which card is your favorite. Leave me a comment down below in the comments and let me know. If you are interested in subscribing to a Stamps of Life club, check the link in the description box below. And if you're interested in any of the additional supplies I've used, those will also be linked down below. Thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great day. Bye-bye.